People flock to Sarasota, Florida every year to visit, and many get an idea of wanting to live here permanently. But when people are in the area for just a week, they don't always get an accurate picture of what it's like to live here and not just visit. We aren't just beaches and sunshine and good restaurants, although, of course, we're all of those things, but we are so much more good and bad. These pros and cons seem to always be in battle with each other, but only you can decide which is more powerful and will win out. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 pros and cons that tend to work against each other when living in Sarasota, Florida. The first battle, income tax versus housing. So a pro, we have no state income tax. That's right, we don't have to pay any state income tax, and that can save people a lot of money. I know of business owners who buy a home down here and relocate the business to Florida, even if the bulk of the work is done in another state. This way they can save on those taxes. There are definitely strict guidelines to follow in order to accomplish this successfully, but it may be worth looking into. Be sure to check with your accountant, financial advisor, attorney, or whoever else you need to reach out to in order to make it happen without getting into hot water. So having no state income tax is awesome, but depending on where you're coming from, the savings could get eaten up in housing. So a con about living in our area right now is really a lack of affordable housing. The cost of housing has gone up so much in the last 3 to 4 years, and it isn't just purchasing, but also rentals. The real estate market has gotten to the point where people have had to move away just because they can't afford the housing here. There are some people who do find it affordable, though, if they're coming from a more expensive area. I've also had people tell me they need to change their plans because they can't buy now, or maybe they can afford something here, but the exact location and a type of property isn't what they really want, or it's not a fit for them. The cost of housing has been discouraging for some people. So yes, we don't have state income tax, but that savings can be consumed by housing. As long as you can recognize that and make the numbers work for your budget, though, the benefits of living in the Sunshine State may justify that. And this is our first battle. The second battle, small town versus traffic. So something wonderful about Sarasota is that small town feel. When I first moved here in 1991, Sarasota was definitely a much smaller town and definitely had a quaint feel, small, quaint, lovely feel. And even though the population of Sarasota has grown, I do feel like there's still a nice overlap of people, organizations, and industries that really maintain that small feel. As an example, the other day, the letter carrier came into my office at work to drop off and pick up some mail. And I look at this young man and I go, "Kyle?" And he looks at me, "Miss Jill?" "Yep, I know our new mailman now at my office." And my assistant manager was there at the time, and she saw us chatting, and she made the comment that I know so many people here that I even know the mailman. Well, yeah, I've lived here a long time, and I've been involved in the community, worked other jobs before real estate, and I've been a member of the same church for almost 30 years now. So I know that Sarasota isn't as small as it used to be, but it's still a far cry from being a really big city. Our downtown area isn't very large, and it's easy to walk around. And we have other little pockets that lends itself to a downtown feel like Lakewood Ranch or Venice Island, where it can still feel intimate and small. So if you focus on your favorite little area, that small town feel can still live on. But here's what can run over that small town feel, and that's the traffic. If I didn't mention the traffic, I think I'd get a beating in the comments section. The traffic can be pretty brutal at times, and the colder it gets up north, the more traffic we get here. Just not on I-75, but on all of our other roads. My office is centrally located on Fruitville Road, and I know that there are better and worse times for me to come and go from my office. So really the key to dealing with traffic is knowing those traffic patterns and working around them the best you can. But I know it can't always be done. So if you can leave earlier than the app on your phone tells you to, then I think that really helps well. I always have work with, I can work on in my car. So if I get somewhere a little early, then I'm not sitting there bored. So you just have to plan ahead. I've worked with people who have really shown serious interest in moving here, and they'll comment, "Oh, Jill, the traffic really isn't that bad." But then I find out that they were here in the summer where it's maybe not so bad the other 8 or 9 years or months out of the year, or they haven't been here for like 15 years. I go, oh, when I was here, I lived there before. It's not that bad. Well, that was 15, 20 years ago. So the city's changed since then. So battle number 2 is that traffic versus that small town feel. How do you feel about living in a small area physically and physical size, but still need to deal with the traffic? Again, that's only a question you can answer. Hi, I'm Jill Thomas, and I'm a real estate agent here in Sarasota. And each week I bring a new video to help you figure out if moving to the Sarasota area is a fit for you or other real estate related topics. So I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and keep on watching. But more importantly, please reach out to me if I can be of help in any way. I have a link down below in the description of my calendar so you can schedule a 30-minute phone call with me. And if that doesn't work for you, you can just shoot me an email. Please let me know. I'm here to help. Now, let's talk about our final battle. Battle number 3 is affordable lifestyle versus less affordable carrying costs. I think Sarasota is wonderful because there is an affordable lifestyle. There's a lot of options for living a full life with a great variety, regardless of your budget. First, let's talk about sports. Sure, you can see a professional football, baseball, or hockey game up in Tampa, but with 3 spring training stadiums between Sarasota and Manatee counties, you can see a lot of baseball games in the spring at a fraction of the cost of watching a game at a big stadium. And right here in Sarasota, we also have tennis matches, rowing competitions that gather national attention. There are a lot of opportunities to watch sports. Second, many people want to participate in the sports and not just watch. So there's many public tennis courts in the area. If you want to swim laps, there's a number of places you can join to use their pool where it's not very expensive. And with a little searching online, you can find a club or group to join to cycle with, play soccer, shuffleboard, more, even card games, table games. It doesn't have to be maybe a physical sport. And there's public golf courses out there where the rates are a little bit lower than a private course. So really the options are endless when it comes to sports and activities. And then next, let's talk about arts and culture, which Sarasota offers in abundance. Again, there's larger venues in Tampa and then here in Sarasota where you can pay a lot more money for a ticket. But there are at least 5 smaller theaters I'm aware of where you can see a great show at a great price. Then we've got the Ringling Museum where 1 day a week the admission's free. There's countless art studios and art shows you can take advantage of throughout the 2 counties. And then we also have the annual Chalk Art Festival, Siesta Key Crystal Classic. They're not free, but they're not crazy money either. So again, budget friendly. Finally, there is so much you can do on or near the water for free besides just sitting on it, just sitting at the beach. Sure, you can buy a boat or a water ski, but that's more money, and if that's your budget, great. Or even having high-end fishing gear. But you can do some really great fishing with minimal equipment, and you can enjoy the water on a kayak, canoe, or stand-up paddleboard. I have really good friends who've got 4 kids, and their boys love to fish. The boys are getting a little older now, but even when they were little, they would take them to the North Jetty a lot, and if they didn't take their fishing equipment with them, the boys would pull out broken fishing line, rusty old hooks, and throw that in the water, and they could catch fish with broken equipment that they found stuck in the rocks. So it doesn't take a lot to be able to fish or to enjoy yourself. You can definitely live a full life here and not spend a lot of money, but just like the cost of housing, sometimes the carrying costs can catch up with you. So now the con, these carrying costs. Not only do you have to buy the home or condo, but there's going to be expenses to maintain the property. And just like the initial cost can be a shock to some buyers, the other expenses that go along with being a homeowner can be just as shocking. The cost of homeowners insurance goes up year over year, and the state of Florida has more issues with insurance fraud than any other state, which contributes to this increase. Next, if you're in a community with HOA dues or condo dues, these fees can go up too. And currently, most of these increases actually have to do with the rising cost of insurance. Then there might be CDD fees. CDD stands for Community Development District, and this expense is paid annually along with your property taxes. The CDD fee is a bond with the county for improving or adding roads, schools, parks, utilities, fire stations, and other infrastructure to help support all of the new construction. And then lastly, property taxes can be an eye-opener for some residents. Again, depending on where you're coming from, the taxes and even the CDD fees could be great savings, but for some people, it's sticker shock. So the battle of fun and affordable things to do compared to potentially higher carrying costs on your home, do they balance out for you, or does one outweigh the other? I know I could have covered many other pros and cons to living in Sarasota, but these are some of the big topics I discuss time and again with my customers, and how they try to balance out what will work and what won't work for them. And really, in the end, only you can decide what will win the battle. Now, if you have any other thoughts on what someone should know about the area, please put it down in the comments below. Again, I don't try to hide anything or play down something or play up something. There's only so much I can discuss in one video. Now on to my final segment, one thing I love and one thing I hate. All right, this segment seems a little redundant for this video. It's almost like it's point number 4, but I still want to share with you these two things. First, what I love. Siesta Key Beach is huge, just not wide, but really, really deep. And the beach has this wheelchair path from the main pavilion, and I really love that. I think it's great for those in wheelchairs or just have a hard time walking on the very soft sand until you get closer to the water. You can also rent sand-friendly wheelchairs right there at the beach, so that's a great thing. Now, this is something I really don't care for, and I know this is a silly first world problem, but considering we are on the water, we actually don't have many restaurants on the water. Or we do have them, but they're really spread out, so you don't have good options maybe close to where you're at. There's a couple on Longboat Key, a handful down in Venice, Nokomis, maybe a couple up on Anna Maria Island, Bradenton Beach area. Right in Sarasota, we have Philippi Creek Oyster Bar. But really, that's kind of all I can think of. There's none on Lido Key, there's none on St. Armands. So when people come to visit, they just assume there's going to be options galore, but there really aren't as many as what you think. So I do wish there was a few more restaurants right on the water, because it's kind of a fun way to eat. All right, well, there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, if there's anything I can do for you, please reach out to me. Have a great day.